Hi, welcome to Hammerwood Park. This afternoon I should actually be painting, and up over here on the cherry picker doing work to the window frames which are falling to pieces, but well, the sky's gone grey and it's a terrible day and it's going to rain, so my paint is going to be quite ruined. And this morning I had a visitor to whom I was showing the house, and it suddenly occurred to me that this house has real relevance to what we find today, because on these temples are copies of the figures from the Borghese vase. It's held in the Louvre in Paris, and these are the only examples where the figures are applied to plaques. They're made out of codestone, and on the capitals of the columns we can just see there at the bottom of the square block, Code Lambeth 1792, and Mrs. Code made many copies of the vase, but these are the only examples where they're applied to plaques. This one's rather fun. My grandmother used to have an expression about her father, about the gods look after children and drunken men, and that expression used to be widely known in England. About 1 in 5 people used to know it, but now, a dozen years later, only 1 in 30 people has heard it. And the intriguing thing is that there is that expression screaming us out the wall. On the left-hand side, we have mortal figures who are dressed in robes, and one of them's holding a staff, and the next one is playing a musical instrument, a lyre. Incidentally, on the other side of the vase, they're playing musical instruments, but we might look at the other side of the vase if anybody wants me to do a video on it. The next figure is interesting because he's not wearing many clothes, but you can see at the base of his spine, on his coccyx, there's a little small tail, and over his shoulder there's an animal skin from the animals freshly hunted at this hunting lodge. Or if you have a look for the legend of Prometheus, you'll find that Prometheus presided over a feast at which there were both mortals and immortals. So we interpret these figures as immortals, as the gods. Some people say that they should be satyrs, but the satyrs had cloven feet. Well, these chaps have very human-looking feet. There's a dog there carrying a stick with a pine cone on the end. This is known as the thyrsus, as is the figure up there. And the thyrsus was always associated with Dionysus, the god of wine, or Bacchus. And so we see here Bacchus, or Dionysus, who's picking up and rescuing somebody who's wearing a robe. So the god is picking up the drunken mortal, and you can see the flagon of wine on the floor that has long since lost its contents. So we see here Dionysus, who is picking up and rescuing Selenus. Now, Selenus is the old man, the historian, and he's so depressed by the fact that people don't take notice of history that they accurse the human race to make the mistakes of history over and over again, and he's so depressed by this, he gets drunk, and Dionysus rescues him. Well, Dionysus is a fun character, an interesting figure. He's the god of excess, the god of mind-altering substances, whose followers achieved ecstasy in the course of their ceremonies, and whose appearance often brought violence, which was perceived to be a threat to conventional order. And so there you see Dionysus rescuing the drunken man. Well, in the last decade, we've seen the world drunken in worship of money. We've seen the world drunken in worship of mammon. And now we see Dionysus rescuing our civilization. Well, when we go inside Hammerwood Park, we see a house that was turned into flats in the 1950s, and it was then owned by Led Zeppelin. And the Led Zeppelin, very much the modern gods of excess, whose followers achieved ecstasy in the course of their ceremonies, who brought violence which was perceived to be a threat to conventional order. And, well, there you are. Here is the dining room. And thank goodness for Led Zeppelin's forgetting about the place, because they actually enabled the house to be rescued from the tyranny of being turned into flats. And if it hadn't been Led Zeppelin and them forgetting about it and the vandals pinching lead off the roof, well, the house would now still be flats. And because of Led Zeppelin and because of the rescue of Dionysus, how very uncomfortable it might be, this house now hosts concerts and is restored. Other than this derelict dining room, which we keep very, very much to show people what happens when historic houses are forgotten. But I hope that you'll see that with the imagery of Dionysus rescuing Selenus, that this historic house has a message for today. It is relevant today, and historic houses need to be preserved, and they tell us about history that is relevant to the modern times. So welcome to Hammerwood Park, and I hope that you might enjoy visiting one day, or enjoy our concerts, which we have on a regular basis. If you want me to do some more videos, shout at me and I'll see what I can do. Bye!